Hello. Welcome to another destroyer inspection in World of Warships. Or in this case, a re-inspection of the Regolo. I kind of meant to do this video quite a while ago. And then I forgot to, and I got lazy, and I forgot about it, and I got lazier, and now we're finally doing it, baby. So why are we re-inspecting the Regolo? Well, much like with the case of the Alvaro de Bazan, wargaming has this tendency of buffing very good but potentially high skill, difficult to play gunboats. So of course they took a ship like Alvaro, which was strong but balanced on release, buffed it at least twice that I'm aware of. Took a ship like Regolo, that was very strong but balanced-ish on release. Quote unquote buffed it by allowing you to take range mod, which is complete fucking noob bait. Complete noob bait. You do not take range on Regolo. And then they buffed it again, and this is a sizable buff to the ship, which is the speed boost is what? 416,485 quadrillion times better than it used to be, perhaps. If you're not aware, original Regolo speed boost only lasted for about 30 seconds with a build. Yes, literally with running engine boost mod. You only had about 30 seconds of active time, and then you had about a 3-minute reload. So they massively buffed the engine boost. And what used to happen, if you watch my original review of Regolo, is you used to have to hoard the speed boost and very judiciously use them. And now you just can use them whenever you want because the penalty for misusing one is very, very low compared to what it used to be. So we're shitting out widespread torps, of course. Now, Regolo torps are basically the stealthiest torps in the game that can actually hit a destroyer. And you see there, we end up hitting not the Agir, but a destroyer next to him with a widespread torp. Now, I mean, hilariously enough, I think it turns out that that was the Z52 that we hit. So, moderately comedic, but Regolo torps, much like Alvaro de Bazan torps, are very nasty. They have a great reload. They have great range. They have decent flood chance, decent alpha strike. But most importantly, they're very stealthy. 1 kilometer detect on the torps. Even with this very low speed of sub 60 knots, you are giving people something like 6 or a bit less seconds of reaction time. Of course, whenever we talk about torpedo reaction time, what do we always mention? The buggy pilot shit netcode means that a 6-second reaction time to Regolo torp, really that feels more like 3 seconds for the victim. So, we had a torp on the DD, we're fooling around, but you see this, the speed boost is down, right? But we only have to wait a bit less than 2 minutes. So now I'm spotted by the Humphreys, but that can't be what's spotting me. So what is it? Oh my god, it's the fucking Holland. So the Z52 is here, the Holland is here, the Humphreys is here, and the Ostergutland is here. So we have 4 of the 5 enemy destroyers within 10 kilometers of us. Now, that's what I love to fucking see, buddy. Oh, that's what I love to see in the fucking Regolo. Are you kidding me? Every DD on the red team in my mouth. That's what you want because, of course, we're going to kind of review the ship as if we never have, Well, Regolo does a few things incredibly well. It's really, really good at farming things like battleships and cruisers because it's got solid HE DPM, amazing SAP DPM. The SAP, importantly, pens 38, which is a very crucial threshold. That is USNBB. So you see here, Ohio in our lobby on our team. We pen that. We've also... if you have ships like Montana, right? If you have obviously we pen like the side plating of Slava, of Conqueror, of Musashi, right? But that's not really unique, right? Like Sherman, other low caliber SAP DDs can do that. Regolo really has the X factor when it comes to penning USNBBs particularly. But of course, we've caught this man, and there is simply no living this. Yeah. There's very few DDs really in the game. You can see here by our dispersion, though, he's actually running Dazzle, which is kind of hilarious. But I mean, even a mediocre salvo into a DD running Dazzle, you know, it's still like 4,000 zap damage. Salvos are coming every like 4 or so seconds, right? I mean, I don't know why this guy's not really shooting back. There's no universe he's ever living this. But the HE is great. The sap is better if it will pen, obviously. But, you know, the HE has like decent fire starting, decent damage per salvo, that kind of thing. So we did a little damage on the Holland. Now we come over here because the Uster Gutland didn't have much help. So we hunt down and kill him. Right, we've kind of got a Des Moines in our ass. We got to be a little bit careful of that, of course. But we're just kind of tool around. And the Regolo obviously is significantly stronger in a division. But nice lag, too, by the way. How that fuel smoke actually allowed me to stay. The Des Moines literally got vision off of that, even when we shot and smoked at the exact same time. But on his screen, he's allowed to see us for like 3 full seconds. This game is really well made, truly. But I guess the big difference with new Regolo versus old Regolo is that speed boost means that not only are you way more likely to have it, you can actually use it to aid you in the farming role, and you do not have to hoard, covet, however you want to look at it, the speed boost, right? You just use the speed boost if you feel like using it. It is no longer a pain point to not have it. You no longer need impeccable game sense and IQ and positioning and whatever else you want to think of to utilize the speed boost to catch destroyers, because you can now catch them for free. Instead of having 30 seconds of ability to hunt down a DD that's stealthier than you, you now get 80 seconds. And when it comes to the open farming role, which isn't going to be demonstrated super well in this game, this is more the DD slamming kind of game. The open farming role is kind of wicked now because, as you can see, the smoke has a cooldown time that basically exactly matches the action time. Now, of course, we're running Sansonetti. What happens if we get 100 shell hits? Well, all of our consumables last for 10% longer. So we've actually gained 8 seconds of speed boost time per speed boost, and we've gained 4 seconds, 4.5 seconds or so of time per smoke use. Now, we're also, you might have noticed there, we are running shell feeder, which you absolutely should do. You see there, you know, against, you know, this guy's obviously not running Dazzle. Gearing's a fat piggy of a boat. This guy is just getting fucking wrecked, dude. I mean, just, it's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. The consistent, always on, you know, DPM of Regolo Sap is some of the best in the game when it comes to fighting destroyers, of course. And then you combine that with how good it is open water farming, right? We have lots of other ships that can smash destroyers really easily. You know, something like a Druid can, obviously. But Regolo just has the X factor of, like, the very decent torps, the very decent fire starting. You see there again, this guy's Hydra's not up. You see the angle at which he died. He was mostly bow in. There's no reaction time on the torpedoes for Regolo. It feels like getting hit with like Yu Yang or Asashio Deep Waters. It legitimately does. These give like maybe a second and a half more reaction time than those torps, but it's very low. But as you can see here, what we're doing is we're just tooling around with our Holland. I'm not paying attention. I think I was looking at my second monitor, but you know, we've got another one here. This guy's a little bit too far a bow in, but he's not quite, right? He's right at that angle. You see there, we got like some pens, we got some ricochets. So we switched to the HE for a salvo and then immediately back to Sap, but he's dead. But crucially, the big factor of this game, as I'm sure you noticed, is that our friendly Holland was basically able to like accidentally spot all of the destroyers for us, and I never really had to like full monkey push. But before we got distracted with Sansonetti giving us some extra duration on our consumables, the speed boost normally lasts with a build for 80 seconds, and then the smoke with the build has a cooldown of less than 80 seconds. So basically what this means is you can smoke, which conceals you for almost an entire minute. So they're like 6,400 with 7 sap pens. It's fucking wicked, dude. Oh my god, I love this boat. But so you have about 50 seconds where you can farm with the smoke, where obviously like you're almost 100% completely safe. And then, so the smoke ends. Well, then you just rip the fucking speed boost. And of course, with the speed boost up, Regolo is going like crazy fast, right? I mean, you're going like well over 50 knots, and so you're very hard to hit, even though you're big. So, and then as soon as that speed boost ends, because it lasts as long as the smoke, now you get to chain. So you get to go smoke, speed boost, smoke with 0 interruption. Now, obviously, once you use that last smoke, you will have a bit of a gap, right? Because, you know, the smoke only lasts for about 50 seconds, and you have nearly a 115-second cooldown. So you will have about a minute, right? But you can go smoke for a minute, speed boost for almost a minute and a half, smoke for another minute. So you get about a 2.5 minute cycle now of very improved survivability, right? In the smoke, nothing's hitting you without radar. And then with the speed boost up, you're very hard to hit. So you get 2.5 minutes of a cycle. That's how you want to look at it, right? You see here, we got the speed boost back, and the speed boost is going to last for basically as long as it will take to get the smoke back. So, I don't really know what ends up happening here. I feel like I aimed that perfectly at his ass, and we just don't hit anything. Weird. So you get 2.5 minute cycles of farming ability. And that is so different than old Regolo. Old Regolo got no cycle of farming because you would smoke, right, for 50 seconds, and then you would have to wait for 75 seconds to smoke again because you couldn't, in good conscience, ever use the speed boost to farm because the speed boost only lasted for 30 seconds. So, I mean, number one, you know, that doesn't even cover really 2 battleship salvos reacting and shooting at you. But also, number two, the cooldown was like 3 full minutes. So, if you used a smoke to farm for 30 seconds and then got in trouble within the next minute, you were just fucking cooked, right? So, the ship has gotten a buff in the sense that it is stronger now. I mean, it is undeniably stronger now because you have this much better farming ability when you need to be open water more. You have a much more consistent experience using the speed boost to hunt destroyers. When you use the speed boost, like you saw at the very start of this game, right? What did we use the speed boost for? Well, we were maybe going to hit a torp, so we ripped the speed boost. You get value out of it. Using the speed boost in emergency situations, one, doesn't cost you as much because of the good reload, right? And two, even though you maybe have originally used it to get out of danger, well, now you have like an extra 40 seconds to use it to maybe farm, right? So we kind of juked into that salvo, unfortunately, but, you know, we basically, the idea there is we're baiting this man into shooting. When we think he's about to pull the trigger, we'll rip the smoke. He then has the choice of partial blind fire on us with good vision, or he can let us go dark, and we go dark, and that would be fine. So either way, it works out. But anyway, not only is Regolo stronger objectively now, it is way easier to play. It has been dumbed down significantly. And, you know, I have always been a Regolo apologist, a Regolo preacher. I think it's one of the strongest tech treaties in the game. I think it has been since release. I also think it's, I mean, honestly, probably just inarguably the most unique tech tree destroyer that we have. You can maybe make a case for Gdansk, but there's so many other ships with smoke and radar. It's one of the most unique ships in the game. It's one of the most strong gunboats in the game. It's incredibly versatile, and it had this really, I think, well-designed balancing factor of the speed boost could get you out of a really shitty situation very quickly, and then you didn't have it for 3 minutes. Or if you really had good game sense, you knew where the enemy destroyer was, a perfectly timed speed boost with your ship sailing in the correct direction with almost no error of even a few degrees, you would very reliably catch almost even Shimas, right? In the original review, you see me catching, I think, Shimas multiple times because I was able to, like, intuit where they are. And now the difference is, like, it's just so fast for so long that even if you kind of fuck your guess on where the destroyer is, you have so much wiggle room, right? You just have so much wiggle room if you use it to hunt destroyers. If you use it to get out of trouble, you get it back faster, but also can then use it while getting out of trouble for farming ability. You can chain it with the smoke, speed boost smoke, to get 2.5 minutes of just completely uninterrupted farming, while being basically almost immune to damage. Regolo pre speed boost buff required intermittent caution, I would say. You could send it with the smoke up, maybe 3 times a game, maybe 4 times a game. You could send it with the speed boost up, but you had to get it right, man. You had to get it just right. You wanted to use the speed boost to YOLO torp somebody, boy, you better not hit that speed boost even 10 seconds too early or you're cooked, right? You want to use that speed boost to catch a GD, boy, you better be heading right at them. If you're off by 20 degrees, you maybe don't catch them in time, right? If you want to use that speed boost to farm open water, well, the battleship turns his guns, it shoots you once. By the time his guns reload, the speed boost is down, right? So all of the nuance that the speed boost being super short duration and super long reload brought to the ship, I think has been totally stripped away. Now, obviously, there's even more of a reason to grind this line and play the boat because it's objectively better and objectively easier to play. But I do think it's kind of sad. I mean, a lot of this credit, I will say, goes to our Holland because he didn't abandon the flank. He fought for the flank with me, right? And I caught the Oster, I caught the gearing by myself, but we wouldn't have been able to kill the Z without Holland catching him, and I wouldn't have been able to trade the other Holland. So 2 of the 4 DDs, right? I mean, but we can see it's just fucking crazy, bro. Full to zero this man in 20 seconds. Full to zero this man in 25 seconds, right? Took 2/3 of this man in 15 seconds. I mean, we hit a torp that doesn't really count, but and then just so much damage under this Conqueror, and something I obviously didn't even mention, as you probably noticed near the end of that game, because we smashed this guy, right? We smashed this guy, we smashed this guy, and we smashed this guy, and then we did a bit of damage to that Des Moines, right? As soon as we did about 18,000 damage to this Conqueror, what happened? Well, boys, of course, what happened is we got fucking Cincinnati Confederate buff, which is a 15% DPM buff. So, we were rocking just an absolutely fucking demonic amount of set DPM, of course, at the end. It's still crazy at both the things it's an expert in. It's an expert at just obliterating destroyers. It's an expert at obliterating destroyers, and it is an expert at farming large targets as well still. And as always, we're looking at 2 consecutive replays. And I think this one, despite the amount of destroyers, I'm trying to recall, I believe this one ended up being more of a bit of a farm situation. I'm not entirely sure. But of course, we are in a double sub lobby, so what does that mean? Well, that means we're on a flank with a sub. Now, there's an Alvaro Bazan in my mouth, and 2 very intriguing things occur. Number 1, he doesn't burst me, and then number 2, he shoots AP at me, so they're not exactly sending their best. Now, I've got a Des Moines, I've got a sub, I've got an Oregon here, and they're against a sub, Alvaro, Zhao, and St. Vincent. So what we see developing here, of course, is my Shima is trying to get the C-cap. So I'm immediately, look at that. The damage, bro. The damage. I'm missing quite a bit, actually. But you see, even some of these misaimed salvos are 3-4K. But we went over there to try to help the Shima with their Shima, right? Now, kind of a difficult decision here, because part of me, wanted to rush the sub. But I'm learning things, right? You see that I'm looking at my team. And what am I learning? Well, I'm learning that my Des Moines is 0.1 kilometers from an enemy sub, won't hit the hydro, or doesn't have hydro. And then, of course, my sub is on the bottom of the ocean, not trying to screen anything. And so then we also see that our Oregon is moving up to the island. He's on fire. He's on about 10,000 HP. He has never used 1 heal. He is, in fact, still on fire. And so what I've gleaned now is I'm going to go over to C. Because my Shima at C is playing the video game, and none of these guys are playing the video game. And so this is something, sometimes you want to take a breath when you're in the middle of a game. If you got two options, do I push cap side? Do I push flank side? Is like, where are my teammates most worth supporting? And, we could support the Des Moines who won't Hydra the sub or drop airstrikes on the sub. We could support the sub who won't spot anything. We could support the Oregon who never touches the heel, by the way. Literally never once touches the heel, dies without ever having used a single heal. Or we could go over to C and we could support the Shimakaze, who actually is attempting to play the video game known as World of Warships. So we're going to go help the Shimakaze attempting to play the video game known as World of Warships. He's clearly a bazillion times more worth helping, right? So, we're healthy, right? We don't care. Maybe this guy hits 3 or 4K on us. But, baiting him to shoot allows us, obviously, to smoke up, right? Baiting him to shoot, I see my Shima Torps are out. Maybe he will oversteer in an effort to get that third turret on us, right? All kinds of reasons there to open up. And then, of course, we're immediately going to switch back to helping our Shima against the enemy Shima. Because our Shima is, playing really well. And so, obviously, the decision was correct. Support the guy who's playing the fucking video game. Don't support the clown car fiesta of retardville on the 910 line, right? Now, if the fiesta on 910 line was captained by people who even exhibited an ounce of common sense or intelligent life, then we would probably support the flank, right? Go for the kills, try to steamroll, but nah. So it's all good. Our Shima is playing really, really well. We support him a little bit, but honestly, he does most of the work, torping the Vincent, right? We just kind of help a tiny bit. Enemy sub Alvaro Zhao are in Narnia. Wooster's their only presence middle, so now Wooster's dead. So obviously it doesn't really make any sense at this point to go back to the southeast and try to screen the Alvaro and the Zhao. This game's already over. My team's already won the game, right? So, in this situation, I do think it's acceptable to just be a damage cuck, right? Because it'll take me multiple minutes to even find the sub or the Alvaro, right? It's not going to accomplish anything by fighting them because the game is... we cannot lose this game. Our team's already won the game, right? So, the only way we could maybe lose would be if the battleship trade happens, right? Our Shima, we already know our Shima's a great player. He's played extremely well this game. So we are comfortable leaving him on that flank. If Alvaro comes back, that he's going to deal with it. If Zhao comes back, he's going to deal with it. The only thing is, we've got a Montana on our team that is handcrafted over 6 generations of brand recognition, artisanal, bespoke materials level of flat broadside to the only 2 battleships that currently exist that can shoot at him. And so, there is a theoretical world that if this GK and Montana push in, maybe they can get some kills. But, we kill their subs, so I would say it's now truly, truly, truly over. And, we just are free to basically farm these guys into the dirt because we have smoke ready. We have a speed boost ready by the time, if we had to smoke right now, the smoke will be back. And now we're going to kind of get to see, what I was talking about in that last replay, but didn't really get to showcase, is how much more insanely, I think, toxic the farming ability of Regolo is open water. Where, there you go, he handled it. Where you just get to farm with impunity in a situation like this. There's not, original Regolo, you had that, back in the day, you'd at least have about a 1 minute window with no smoke, no speed boost very regularly, right? And that window kind of exists, but not really. And especially if you're timing it, you smoke, and maybe 20 seconds after the smoke ends, you speed boost, and then maybe 20 seconds after the speed boost ends, you smoke. It's you basically remove almost the entire gap. Montana is a ship that we pen everywhere, but you see there, we exit the smoke. What do? Well, we immediately can hit the fucking speed boost. And of course, the speed boost is lasting for longer than the reload time left on the smoke screen. So we're just free to be a complete fucking cuck. I mean, this guy's 9.5 kilometers away. We literally just accelerate out from under his shells. And you couldn't do this in old Regolo. Like, in old Regolo, one, there's almost no chance I'd even have the speed boost loaded. Two, I would have to, like, save the speed boost for as he shot, and then hit the speed boost while trying to accelerate. And then it would be good for literally dodging a single salvo from this GK, right? I mean, it's just like, it's crazy. It's crazy. We just have it up. We just have it up for this long. Sure, he's hitting us for, like, 3,000 a salvo, but you know that at the rate, the amount of HP that I have, even if that continues, even if he keeps hitting me for like 4K a salvo, it's gonna take him minutes to kill me, right? Like, literally, it will take him minutes to kill me, and my smoke's already back. The speed boost still has a bit of time, but the smoke's already back, right? He's turning the guns. He shoots the rear turret, so now, I mean, it doesn't matter that we're not the only spotting on him, right? But, you know, if for some reason this guy, like, figured out the lead, started laser beaming us, we can just smoke up again. You know, he's turning in to shoot his front guns on me. So we can just smoke. Like, at any moment, I can stop. We get Witherer, right? I mean, the HE is not utilized enough in Regolo, I would say. Like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of ships where, you know, the sap will just do so much more damage. You never even go for the fires, but that's what I mean by, like, and you see here, we have 40 seconds of smoke, and then after the smoke ends, we only have to wait for 40 more seconds. Like, I just don't think this was necessary, dude. I mean, we just farm Witherer off. I mean, like, bro, 83,000, like, we literally farmed, what is that, 133,000 damage in how long? In what? Well, we used a smoke, a speed boost, and we didn't even touch the last smoke in, like, what, 3 minutes? Was that a 3-minute engagement? I think that was about 3 fucking minutes, and we just farmed 130 plus K on these fucking guys, right? I mean, it's just like, it's disgusting. And especially obviously on the Montana when his DCP is working, right? We switch to the sap. Or I don't think we even used the sap on this man. But, I mean, that was mostly HE, right? Mostly fires, 36K fires on this guy, right? 16K fires, 13K flooding. It's just gross that you can do this now. And I think that's like, I don't know, man. I mean, it's just like, it's just adding toxicity into the game. Like, Regolo is very strong. I don't understand why they felt the need to buff it. I truly just don't get it. I think in my original review of Regolo, like, praised the balance team for understanding that the speed boost had to last for like 20 seconds base. I can't remember what the base duration is. It's like 20 or 25 seconds originally. And I was actually quite impressed with the development team for that, because it demonstrated that they understood that by not giving it a crazy speed boost, that it mitigated how toxic its farming role was, and it required very high skill and very good game sense to use the speed boost to catch people, and it punished you for misusing the speed boost. I was very impressed with Wargaming for this. I mean, here we are, you know, here we are. But, like, the ship is just, it's always been worth getting, but, like, it's so crazy. I mean, number one, it's probably the single best. Is that fair? Yeah. It's the best ship in the game for Sansonetti. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Like, Sansonetti is stronger on Regolo than he is on any other boat. I don't think that's really even arguable. You activate all the talents, you utilize all the talents to their max ability, and you're a pure DPM boat. So when you get confed, you benefit the most from it too. Sansonetti is stronger on Regolo than he is on everything else. The ship is very unique, it's very fun, it's very strong, and it's better now. And, man, crazy. Wargaming. Buff, moderately balanced, modern gunboats. They love to do it. And the build has not changed. I want to get to that straight away. The build has not changed. You do not listen. There is so much bait on the Italian gunboats. Probably said this in the original review. If so, we'll say it again. Number one, you always took this and you still take this. And especially now, it's even more wicked. Bait number one is smoke generator mod 1. You do not fucking take this, bro. You do not. Stop. Stop. Bad. Stop. Don't do it. Okay? You do not give up hitting an extra 1 or 2 shells every time you whap a DD for 10 seconds more smoke per smoke screen. Stop it. Okay? We're definitely taking prop. I mean, obviously, I don't even know of a DD you wouldn't other than the improved Excel ones. You definitely take concealment. You do not be a fucking cringe lord who tries to buff rudder ship with cruiser turning. Okay? And then give up any chance of spotting DDs. You don't do that. Come here. If I see you running fucking range mod on Regolo, buddy, I'm gonna fucking lose it. No. Stop. Oh, but Huggo, the speed boost actually facilitates the open water farming role of the Regolo. You can actually use a speed boost to farm open water, making much more better advantage of the improved gun range. If you no, stop! Get the DPM, get the fuck in there, and fight the DDs. Quick. Stop. Listen, dude, if you want to spam people at 13.5, play the fucking Kleber, alright? Play the Kleber. Okay. Yep, so that's the build. You do not change anything. That's the build. Now, here we go. We're going to get into it again. If your destroyer has like a 3.5, a longer reload, right? Like a 3.5 plus 4+ second reload. And your destroyer is highly effective against other destroyers with both types of ammunition, but in different angling situations. Regolo, C-42. These are ships with longer than average reloads on their guns for a destroyer. These are both ships that do much more damage with the 2 key than the 1 key, but the 2 key ammo doesn't work when the DD angles. If you are in a ship like Z42 or Regolo, Gunfeeder is probably the most wicked 1-point skill you can fucking run because there's no DPM loss. There's 0 DPM loss. As you notice in that first replay, we shoot sap, we're reloading sap, oh, he's angling, click 1. We shoot HG. We shoot HG. Oh, he's opening up, mid-reload, we click 2, especially on Cincinnati. Gunfeeder is mandatory on this boat. This is one of those things where I think you can only appreciate it if you run it. And, I mean, I get in arguments with people all the time. Oh, it's not that good. Yeah, because you've never tried to run it. You play like 3 games in Regolo with Gunfeeder, you'll think to yourself, I'm like, I was an idiot to never run this skill. I didn't used to run this skill either. I was an idiot. It's so fucking incredibly good to have this skill on a ship like Regolo because you do have a longer reload, 4.6 seconds. This is 60% reduction in your shell switching time. So if you shoot it, if a DD's flat to you, and boom, you whap him with sap, and then he starts to angle, boom, you whap him with sap, and now he gets angle when you've got 2 seconds left on reloading your sap, and you click 1 twice, you have lost 0 damage output. You have lost 0 damage output. And if you are fighting a destroyer who is actively maneuvering, it's very common in Regolo to go like, shoot sap, shoot sap, shoot HE, shoot HE, shoot sap, shoot HE, shoot sap, shoot HE, shoot HE, shoot sap again. It happens all the fucking time. And every time you switch and you don't run Gunfeeder, you are missing out on half a salvo's worth of DPM. There are many situations, if you don't run Gunfeeder, you basically cut your DPM by like a third in the fight. Let's not do that. So basically, there's kind of one, like, quote-unquote real choice. You don't even kind of need Superintendent. Even if you spam the smokes literally on cooldown from the moment the round starts, it'll still take you like 14 minutes to use them all. So you do not need superintendent whatsoever. So you do definitely take range though. You need to have range. That gets you to 11.5. That is usable. When you get a kill with Sansonetti, you get 12.4, which is pretty okay. It's fine. It's usable. We do not take range mob. We go into DPM. Now, like I said, there's really basically one choice. Do you take BFT or do you take Fearless Brawler? So I would say there's two reasons why you don't take Fearless Brawler on Regolo. Number one, the rule with Fearless Brawler versus BFT is close to or more of half of my damage output achieved while I am undetected. So on a ship like Vampire 2, most of your damage in a given game is while you're not spotted, right? Even in a ship like Regolo, most of your damage output is via in the smoke. Yeah, you can farm a bit better now than you used to be able to, but still, you're going to overall get at minimum half of your damage, right? At minimum, you are going to get half of your damage while undetected. And that's the rule, right? Fearless Brawler is 10% buff. If you're spotted, right? This is the basic math. If I can speak and communicate, if half of your damage is while spotted, then these completely negate each other. There's zero value one way or the other, right? Because you're going to have a 10% buff half of the time versus a 5% buff all of the time. So they totally cancel out. But, given that they totally cancel out, you would say there's basically dealer's choice, no preference, right? Totally equal. But by running BFT, we then free up another 1-point skill, and we can put that 1-point skill into a really mega ability. Alvaro is one of the very few gunboats in the game where you would love to take like almost every 1-point skill. Like, I shit you not, dude. If you could afford it, and in fact, I'm not going to say this is objectively correct or that I am even going to do it most of the time. A incredibly strong case could be made for not even taking any reload buff and literally going Liquidator, Consumable Specialist, PM. You could make that case. If you said that's my build, I'd take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1-point skills on Regolo. I would not make fun of you for that. That actually makes sense. All of these skills are valuable. You really, really want Grease the Gears because with Reload Mod, that still gives you an 18-second turret traverse, which isn't great. If you don't take Grease the Gears, now you're up over 20 seconds. So turret traverse is a pain point on Regolo. Getting all of your consumables back an extra 5 seconds faster is really good because you're a consumable spammer. This is basically, in my opinion, a mandatory skill. PM is always great. You can't always afford to run it, but it's always great to have. And then your torps are in that super sweet spot of flood chance base, where it's like low 200% flood chance base, where running Liquidator plus the flag now gives you like almost guaranteed flood chance, right? It's right in the sweet spot. Ships with really high, right, like Yu Yang Shimo, like close to 400 flood chance, no value to Liquidator. Ships like Holland with no flood chance, no real value to Liquidator either because you aren't getting like a meaningful improvement, right? Regolo is kind of like right in the sweet spot where you actually would get value out of Liquidator. So legitimately, I would run this. I would, no matter what, I'm taking main battery AA over Fearless Brawler. I would say this is basically the build, but legitimately dropping the 3-point reload skill for literally these 3 other 1-point skills is a good move. Totally valid. The thing with PM on Regolo, which we're now going to get to because we're going to look at the armor profile, is the armor profile on Regolo has some uniqueness to it. And the uniqueness of Regolo's armor profile is the turrets are tanks, bro. The turrets don't fucking die on this ship. It's crazy. I think it's the most armor on a DD turret. I mean, maybe like Elbing might have more. But, compared to other gunboats, right, Druid has something like 6 millimeters. Most DDs have something like, you know, somewhere between 6 and 13 millimeters. So another wicked asset of Regolo is in DD fights, you almost never get a gun knocked out on you. I mean, obviously the ship is big, right? Big and easy to hit, but you almost never lose a gun, which is really wicked. There's a lot of ships that are theoretically great in a fight, but lose guns all the time. Cough. Druid. Druid. But it's hard to grief the guns on Regolo, which is nice. Now, what I will say is the engine is apparently lore accurate Italian engineering, which is to say it breaks when anything splashes seawater on it. And so, again, PM is pretty damn decent on Regolo because for whatever reason the engine just does seem to be made out of like extra papery product. We don't really know what that's about. So I'm telling you, like, yeah, 5% DPM is kind of nice, right? That's equivalent to like an extra 10 to, extra maybe 15,000 SAP DPM. But all three of these skills, like, I honestly can't think of another DD in the game where I'm even debating taking that many 1 point skills, but this is one of them. Your ship will feel a lot better if you grab these 3 extra skills and drop this. You probably won't really notice the reload that bad anyway. So definitely an option. I would say this is probably like the best build to prioritize some DPM. And then swapping that for this would be more like the survivability build. You can think of it that way, right? This is we're grabbing DPM, and then by giving this up, we're only losing 5% DPM, but we're going to get our consumables back a decent amount faster, right? This is going to equate to like 5 to 7 seconds faster reload on the smoke and the speed boost. This is basically meaning that when you hit ships with decent torp protection, so, think something like a Montana midship, you're really likely to flood instead of maybe a 50-50 chance to flood. And then PM to keep like the engine up. So again, like survivability, right? So those would be like kind of the 2 builds you can maybe go for. But the ship is incredibly fun, incredibly strong, incredibly unique. There is no other tier 10 destroyer in the game that plays anything like Regolo. And it's just really good. There are ships that have a comparable sap spamming experience, like Sherman comes to mind, but Sherman doesn't have Alvaro's cracked torps, right? The torps on I might have been saying Alvaro. I might have been saying that all throughout this video. But Regolo torps are really slept on. Like we mentioned, 1 km motherfucking detect, dude. 1 kilometer detect on the fucking torpedoes. And while we're on the topic of the torpedoes, I'm pulling up, as we speak, Ship Tool to give you a comparison, right? We're going to compare Regolo torps to Yu Yang torps, right? Yu Yang basically is like, okay, all right, guys. Yeah, Khabarovsk actually has the stealthiest torps in the game. Yes, they don't ever hit anything. They don't count. We don't count those. Yu Yang has the stealthiest torps in tier 10 that can actually hit anything, right? Yu Yang torps give a 4.3 second reaction time. Regolo torps give a 6.6 second reaction time. If you're thinking of pretty common torps, right? Everyone is a pretty big fan of gearing. Gearing torps have about an 8-second reaction time, right? Something like Shimakaze 12 cam torps have close to a 9-second reaction time, right? Holland is just under 8. Very, 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 very few destroyers in tier 10 have a reaction time on the torpedoes as good as the Regolo. Very, very few. Literally, it's just the deep waters. It's just the deep waters. Regolo, Alvaro de Bazan have a 6.6 second reaction time. Yu Yang has a 4.3. Lucian has a 4.6. And Khabarovsk has a 4.2. Yeah, Khabarovsk has 4.2. It's also kind of funny because the torpedo DPM on a ship like Regolo is actually reasonably, it's better than Holland. Better torp DPM than Holland. Better flooding than Holland. Better stealth on the torps than Holland. Holland's a great torp boat, isn't it, guys? It's a great torp boat. Super good. Anyway, we're just kind of blabbing at this point, so let's end the video. As always, that's that's Regolo. Get the fucking Regolo. I don't know what you're doing, especially if you have his Cincinnati. Like, bro, putting Cincinnati on Colombo makes Colombo like, well, my Colombo's like maybe 3 to 5% better. This is the boat. This is the boat. Yeah, we're gonna ramble for like 30 more seconds. It's the boat. Why? Because your very first smoke screen of the game gets you the 100 shell hits necessary for your. I'm hovering over the wrong shit. You hit on 100 shells, you get 10-second longer smoke. That's an extra 4.5 seconds per smoke. 10 seconds longer speed boost. That's an extra 8 seconds per speed boost, right? Over the course of a game, this is like getting superintendent. This is what I'm getting at, right? Another reason why you don't really need superintendent is like if you get 100 shell hits in the first like 3 to 5 minutes of the game, which happens all the fucking time, it basically gives you a fucking 3 point captain skill slot because you're essentially buffing 5 consumables by 10. Well, 10. You're buffing the 5 smokes and 5 speed boosts by 10%, right? You are very likely to get a kill. Getting a kill in Regolo matters way more than getting a kill for your extra range, right? The extra range is way more impactful in Regolo than it is in like Ven or Colombo or Loria, right? And then you're a pure DPM ship. You don't even have AP. All of your ammo is DPM based. So getting a DPM buff is fucking wicked. It's, Colombo and Loria and Ven are kind of DPM ships, but they'll still often load AP and weight. So often even weight with the sap loaded. So you get more value out of Cincinnati on this boat than like probably any other Italian ship in the game. So another really wicked reason why you should get Regolo. You should absolutely get it. The ship fucks. It's big dick energy. Totally worth playing. Super enjoyable. Super strong. As always, thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next one.